If your process is right, detailing a car is pretty relaxing. We don't see that on the internet. We see guys getting stressed out over the advice that they've gotten, or, oh, I'm gonna scratch my car. Or they are told that they have to work a towel. You know, you gotta pick it up, and then, yeah, if it's not the right formula, if you don't have a lot of lubrication, if you're using the wrong towel, if you're using the wrong stuff in your bucket, yeah, you have to be really worried. In this situation, what's there to worry about? There's nothing.
Nothing.
You know, using modern chemistry, using a great towel, using all these different things, it's a real relaxing process, right? And so what people will notice with me, I think probably as we put more videos out, I'm always in favor of using more and not less, because let's say it takes you $1.50 to wash your car with the proper chemistry and going a little bit above and beyond. Okay, you're gonna wash your car for $1 instead of $1.50. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of the crazy things we've seen leak into this world, where everybody's trying to think that the car owner out there, the detailer owner out there, they're just trying to save a buck. And to me, that's just a wild behavior when you're working on a $100,000 vehicle.
Let's talk about another thing that is unique to EcoOne. Gratification, that instant, I know I've put some protection down, right? I feel it on the vehicle. I think that's one of the extra things of EcoOne that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, you just get to this place where, you know, we work on a lot of expensive vehicles. You and I in our career, still today, here's a customer's car here in your local area. This is an expensive car. Our chemistry, our thought process comes, cars are getting more expensive. Hell, an F-150, $70,000. You know what I mean? Everyone's paying more. We gotta elevate and take our experience. I'm gonna go ahead and let you do the top there. And take our experience and say, there is a better way to do all of that. And that's what we wanna show. Like, this is a really great process and something that I really do enjoy doing rinseless and waterless hybrid. But I don't enjoy seeing all the bad advice that I know is just scratching the hell out of people's paint when they think they're doing the right thing because they saw something on the internet and somebody told them they used to detail back in 1980. You know, we hear that all the time. You know, the reality is this is modern. This is an evolution. And so people know this is the kind of dirt we're picking up. That's not going to be reintroduced anywhere on the car, right? So this is now getting flipped. When I got to the bottom, this is what makes the one bucket method so efficient, is once I get any kind of level of dirt, which is normally picked up towards the bottom of the panel, that's the last time that towel comes anywhere near anything on the paint, right? So again, I just wiped the very bottom at the end. We have all this dirt. This is now done. And we're on to the next one. And we're on to a completely clean side.
How'd you get to this point of kind of figuring this out? And was there a moment where you go, wow? Because I never, you know, I always, as a waterless and microfiber towels and all that, right, we'd flip and go and just toss away. You know, we were always constantly, it didn't matter. You know, people would always go, well, how many towels you go through? Listen, you go
through a lot.
10? I mean, why does it always matter with people going, how many towels you're going through? So where did you start learning about, all right, then let me flip and let me reuse and let me do all 8 sides?
Well, I think it was just an evolution, you know, where I was trying to find a way to not, you know, teach people that were going to join my team, have a consistent process, have a consistent thing that I could teach everybody that made sense. But the reality was, I didn't want to scratch cars. I mean, we're heavy paint correction guys. You know, you wet sand a whole car, then you cut it, then you do an intermediate step, then you do a finish step, and somebody's got 15, 20, 30 hours, 50 hours into a car. The last thing I want to do the next time I see it is scratch it. I just put all this time, the customer's paid all this money, all of these kind of things, and then you just, everyone watching has common sense. every single one of you listening has common sense. Just think about it. I'm gonna have a rinse bucket with this thing at the bottom that's supposed to be magic. And you're gonna tell me you're gonna stick a dirty mitt into something and it's not gonna get dirty. And I'm never gonna have it get dirty because I have this magical rinse bucket. Well, you must have some magical water at your house. You know what I mean? So I've never had the magic water. So I just would watch dirt float in my rinse bucket and I'd be like, God, I gotta be picking that up. And so I just evolved, right? I'm not saying I didn't fall into some of the traps at some point and try some things out. We've all done that. But when I tried it out, I just kind of thought through it. I'm like, this doesn't.
It just didn't make sense, right?
Doesn't sit right with me.
Just didn't make sense.
And so, again, this is so efficient. If you're working in your garage, especially when it's not hot out, you notice that I'm going around with SLIQ and I'm spraying right on the panel, right on the glass.
All right, before we do that, we need to, did you do your steps? How do you do your steps over there?
So here's what I'll do. I'll get the paint completely done in this type of world. I'll get the paint completely done, and then I'll take the towel. Once I know I'm never gonna have to use it again on the paint, I'll go ahead and do running boards, different things like that. If I wanna get up in the fender lip.
Nick, I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this in the bucket. I think I can get it. I'm pretty sure all that's just gonna fall all the way to the bottom.
Well, I know one thing, you messed up our glass here with your irresponsible behavior, which tends to happen with Rinseless a lot for me. And you kind of look at this and your towel's gliding, there's no dirt. You really shouldn't have to use more than one drying towel if you go around the whole car. Now, if you're in sunlight or something like that, you have a little bit of a different reality, you know what I mean? You gotta kind of work quicker, all those kinds of things. But when you're in a shop setting, when you're in your own garage, you can really do the whole car with Eco 1, come back and start your drying process. You know what I mean? So if you look at, I'm gonna actually finish my glass. We'll still come back with glass cleaner because I wanna get that final touch. But honestly, this is probably better finished glass than 99% of people can achieve. Just using Eco 1 and a couple spritzes of SLIQ. If I'm in a hurry, I can call that good. I'm not gonna have a bunch of streaking and things like that. And for me personally, I have a BMW I love at home. Being able to just kind of chill in my garage, no matter the weather, that's where this comes in for me. Obviously it comes in on business, but I'm telling you, if you think that you're just gonna run a business or you're gonna 100% take care of your car like this, I think you can do it if you stay on top of it, but you start to get into bad weather, man.
Yeah.
And it gets really tough. I'd rather you just have a garden hose for a rinse. If you don't have that, buy yourself some more towels, spend money on towels, okay? Buy high quality ones, learn how to care for them. They will last you a very long time if you care for them properly.
So you're talking about inclement weather in a sense, dirty vehicles, rinseless. People, what about the fender wells? What about if I got stuff in it, right? Okay.
Yep.
Let's go back to that theory that we had with the front. And
yeah, I mean,
can you, and yes, the answer is yes. Let me go ahead and stage it up. The answer is yes. Unfortunately, I gave away the answer. But, I grew up cheating off of Cliff Notes. You remember those?
100%.
Fuck yeah, that's right. So, can you do a rinseless if you have stuff in the fender well? Yes. Do you need to spray a lot more product and have designated towels to go into specifically just the fender well? Yes.
Yeah, and that's what you would call, as a professional, your dirty towels, right? Towels that have been downgraded, towels that are at the end of their life, towels that a lot of guys cut the corner of the towel to know that when they see a cut corner off the towel, they know that that's never to touch paint or the interior or any sensitive spots again. It's been downgraded to engine bays or fender wells or wheels or whatever the case may be. And so I think one of the things that you're saying here is all this stuff is possible, right? You've been proof of that. I mean, it's not like you live in Southern California with no weather. You live in Tulsa, but you used a lot of product when you ran up on dirty fender wells. You used a lot of towels.
Because you still got to be safe, you know.
Yeah, and you still want to get a good result.
And you want a good result.
You know, so that's where I think a lot of people have this weird mindset about rinseless and waterless, and I get it. I just think there's so much confusion. Number one, I have never used a 256-to-1 dilution that I ever called good. I've used them all. Hell, I tested for some of those companies, and I'd be like, yeah, I had to 10x this. Well, what do you mean? You don't know how to use it? It's like, is it more likely that I don't know how to use it, or this is just the way it is? Right? Like, I'm taking care of car collections, I'm doing my best, I'm trying to give you feedback, and you want to go the minimal amount. And I think it's kind of disrespectful to the car owner and the professional. So we're going to find a way for this to be 30 cents instead of 60 or 90 cents per use. Because remember, if you never dirty your bucket, that solution's good all day.
Yep.
Right? It's not like it goes away just because you're working, you know, you take care of your car and then you got to do your wife's car. It doesn't magically go away, right? As long as you don't introduce dirt again to that bucket, that solution's good all day. Take a sponge and dip it in there. Would I use that solution all day on multiple cars? I wouldn't use it on one car. And I never have. Did I give it its fair shake? You bet I did. Because that's our job, right? I need to see what it's about. But as soon as I started to drag that across the panel, I was like, count me out. So this is just a little bit elevated above that. So now you asked what I do on these running boards on something like this that pop out. I have a dirty towel, okay? I know it's done on paint for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and get the running boards popped out, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them a wipe.
Give it a little pre-spray, go straight in white.
This is, again, an assessment. This one needs some pre-spray.
That's what I was saying too. They're not like caked on, right? This is where people go, they're dirt. You know, is it dirt? Yeah, it's dirt. But it's not like clumped up dirt. It's just dirty, right?
Yeah, it's just dirty.
It's dirt that's just in there. So I like to come through a pre-spray too. Then take your towel, yeah, you just basically just go through and start scrubbing away.
Yep, and a lot of times if it's the right place to do this, you'll just need to do a simple wipe more than you'll need to do a scrub, right? Almost like just one fell swoop here will kind of get these right. Although one of the things I get on these is these hinges. Those hinges can look kind of ugly when you open your door.
Absolutely.
So Marty, now we have those hinges cleaned up and our process is pretty much done.
Yeah.
This to me, to kind of recap everything, the reason we showed this video, again, we didn't move the camera around a whole bunch. We're not trying to shoot something fancy. We're trying to get to the point of what's an actual elite process when you choose this. It's not a sponge, is it? It's never been that, okay? And I'll tell you why. Let's make this very clear. When I take that sponge and it's dirty and I put it back in my water, the idea that there's gonna be no dirt floating around and that there's some magic sauce that's gonna bring everything to the bottom, that's not how chemistry works.
And that's the way it's presented though, right? Like, oh man, all good, you can scrub, you can even scrub onto a grid guard. And the magic, there's even, you know, there's grid guards that keep things down.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow it to go back up.
Yeah, so think about this. 2 to 3 towels and be 100% safe, or risk it with one sponge. Nobody's saying put 500 towels in here. That's a big expense. 3 Versatowels, 3 high quality towels, you can do an elite process on a $100,000 car. And what I want to say is, this took us a long time and a lot of years to say this is elite, right? We went through all this. We're able to share this and say, hey, we made mistakes. We had to learn when nobody was doing this. When you and I were doing this, you're what, 2008 doing this, right? I'm around 2010. This wasn't all figured out, right? So this was us learning. A lot of you professionals watching us, you were learning along that time too. So you get to this point. So all my screw ups and the people like us that were at the beginning of this thing gets us to this point in 2023 where we're all looking at each other going, okay, we just have a better way.
Much better.
Right?
Much better.
And so remember, there's always a difference, right? Elite and then this other way where I'm trying to cut a corner or save a nickel or whatever. If you want to take care of your car on a high level, this is a more elite process. And I think that's the point of our videos a lot of times.
Absolutely. Absolutely.